Hi, I'm Amy Cardoso and welcome to Art This Week. On this week's episode, we visit the Kimbell Art Museum and our interviewer Janelle Montgomery speaks with curator Guillaume Kientz about their exhibition, Flesh and Blood, Italian Masterpieces from the Capodimonte Museum. Now for Art This Week. Hi, we're at the Kimbell Art Museum to talk with curator Guillaume Kientz about the exhibition Flesh and Blood, Italian Masterpieces from the Capodimonte Museum. Guillaume, thank you so much for joining us.
You're very welcome.
The collection is the work of several generations of the Farnese family, starting with Alessandro Farnese, as I understand it. Can you tell us about the family and how the collection started?
The Farnese family is one of the most important and wealthiest family in Italy in the Renaissance. The fortune, the luck of this family started when Alessandro Farnese, the eldest sister, Giulia Farnese, the beautiful Giulia Farnese, became the mistress of Pope Alexander VI. So you see, that's a start. And she secured for her brother that he would become a cardinal. And being created a cardinal at the very early age of 25 years old, he just could become eventually a pope. And that happened in 1534 when Alessandro Farnese was elected and took the name of Pope Paul III. And then he became the head of the family. He controlled everything in Italy, almost everything in Europe. So it was an incredibly wealth, and that helped him and his family to build a palace and to start a great collection, one of the greatest collections in Italy in the Renaissance. We are very lucky to have this portrait of Alessandro Farnese by Raphael because this very year, 2020, is the anniversary of Raphael's death. He died in 1520, so it's a big time for Raphael, and actually in Italy they're doing a big celebration for his death, organizing an exhibition at the Scuderia del Quirinale in Rome. So we're very lucky to have one Raphael coming from Italy for this show, and the Kimbell doesn't have, unfortunately, Raphael in the collection, but for a couple of months we're going to have a Raphael here in Fort Worth, and we will celebrate his anniversary with it.
As you would expect, there are a number of portraits and religious scenes in this exhibition, and mythological ones as well. There's also some what I'll call large-scale genre scenes and a number of still lives. What do the works tell us about the collectors and the times that they lived in?
Well, actually, the collectors were not that interested in a specific subject. It was more about great artists, big names, and nice paintings, things that were nice to see. And actually, they were quite interested in variety of the subjects so it was great to show what an artist could do in so many different directions: still lives, biblical subjects, mythological paintings, and that was a collection. The collection is an assemblage of many different things, and that creates a great ensemble, and that's exactly what the Farnese did at the time.
And the Capodimonte Museum has a collection of something like 3,000 objects, and it was almost purpose-built to house these works. So how did you choose what would come to Fort Worth?
Well, in an exhibition, the selection part is the greatest part, and it also is the most sensitive, because that's where you cannot fail, because you're alone or with your colleagues, obviously, and you look at the paintings, and you don't have only to choose the painting that are great or are relevant for history, but also you know your audience and you know your museum, so you have to be sure that they will look at their best in your gallery during the show. And so we decided, I mean, it was a really teamwork with the Capodimonte people and with our partners in the Seattle Art Museum, who had the show as a first venue. So we decided that it was important to have masterpieces, iconic figures, iconic paintings, and but also to have something quite balanced between the Renaissance and the Baroque, between portraits, biblical subjects, religious paintings, secular or genre scenes. So we try to have a selection that represents every kind of painting from both the Renaissance and the Baroque.
The earliest work in the exhibition is Lotto's portrait of Bishop Bernardo de Rossi, 1505, and the latest is an 1813 view of Naples from the Capodimonte. Over those 300 years, what are some of the things that changed in how artists depicted their subjects on the canvas?
Many things changed in the course of these 2 centuries, but I think what changed, especially from the first gallery dedicated to the Farnese to the last galleries dedicated to the many genres in painting, is the patrons. Art, paintings at the beginning of the 16th century, it was pretty much a business for princes, popes, cardinals, very powerful people. But in Naples, for instance, the 17th century was a very, very good time to live in, and people could thrive and make an easy living and make money and then buy art. And so what is changing is that more people can afford art. And not only it encourages artists, it encourages people to become artists, but also it encourages artists to go in different direction, to do more decorative art, to leave behind a bit the dramatic religious or biblical painting of the early 17th century to moving toward a more gracious approach in painting, more elegant, more superficial, some may say. Or
something
think.
You might like to have in your house.
Exactly.
Very large house,
Absolutely.
House. How did you end up with the Flagellation of Christ? That was quite a coup to get that here, I understand.
Yeah, the Flagellation of Christ is a tour de force, but that shows also that the Kimbell is not, any museum. It's the Kimbell. I mean, we're a museum that has a strong commitment for masterpieces, and when we do something, we want to do it the best possible. And the negotiation took a long time, actually. Seattle couldn't have the painting for their venue, but we were the second venue, and we negotiated, and we found an agreement with Capodimonte and with the FEG, because actually it belongs to this foundation owned by the church, the FEG, and so we got the painting. It was last minute news, but a very good news.
The Caravaggio Flagellation of Christ is a tour de force, as you've said. What makes it stand out so special? Why was it so important to bring it here?
It was very important to bring it here because Caravaggio's arrival in Naples in 1606 started the development of the Neapolitan school of painting. Before Caravaggio, Naples, in terms of paintings, was okay, but not incredible. But the pictorial revolution that Caravaggio achieved in Rome, reinventing the chiaroscuro, this dramatic contrast between light and shadow, when he took this special effect to Naples, it was a revolution in Naples, and all the artists present there, they almost all converted to Caravaggism. They all became to follow his path and emulate his style. So this painting really can be considered the starting point of the Neapolitan school, or the Baroque school in Naples. So that's why it's so important. And it's a beautiful painting. It's one of the most achieved painting by Caravaggio, which is not, I mean, it's even a Caravaggio is an event, it's a great thing, but this one is one of the best one he ever painted. And what I especially like in it is very smart use of this chiaroscuro I mentioned, because at once you can understand whether you have whether you know about the story or you don't know about the story of the Flagellation, but he makes it clear who is the good guy and who are the bad guys. The good guy is the one with the perfect body, bathed by a very smooth and soft light. The bad guys are in the dark, weeping this perfect body. So using pictorial effects, he conveys the message of the Bible, actually. So because that's what art is about. It's not only illustrating the Bible, it's giving life to the Bible or to the mythology through the painting. So
adding emotion to the words.
Exactly, and then the emotion can grow in you.
Mm-hmm. On another note, male artists from Botticelli to Kehinde Wiley have treated the subject of Judith and Holofernes. This exhibition includes a work by a female painter addressing that subject, Artemisia Gentileschi. Does she treat that subject differently, do you think?
I think there is something quite peculiar in her depiction of the theme of Judith and Holofernes, is that on the painting you can see that two women, Judith and her servant, are busy handling Holofernes while Judith is beheading him. And that's quite new, or that's quite original. If you look at other painters like Caravaggio, but all Caravaggio's followers. There were many painting exactly the same subject, but in all the cases, the servant is waiting behind Judith, waiting with a bag in which she will eventually wrap the head of Holofernes. But in the specific case of this painting, the servant is helping. And my interpretation, but I cannot imagine I'm making it up. I mean, it has to be like that. She painted two women handling a man because she knew from her life, from her experience, that one woman was not enough when it was about to handle a man assaulting you. And why? Because she got raped, sadly, when she was training in her father's studio. One of her father's assistants, Agostino Tassi, I want to repeat this name because he's an artist, famous artist, you can see his paintings in many museums. Actually, he was a rapist. He raped her, and they went on in trial, and she won. He got convicted, and she painted this painting a few years after. So, I mean, there is no way with such a drama in one's life that this really, I mean, that this drama wouldn't be present when she was painting this very dramatic subject of Judith beheading Holofernes.
Amidst all those portraits of popes, cardinals, and the artists, Parmigianino's Andrea really comes as quite a surprise. What do we know about how it came to be in the collection?
Well, the artist is Parmigianino. He was active in Parma, and the Farnese were dukes of Parma, so that makes sense that they would have get some paintings for the best artist in the place, Parmigianino. And actually they have a couple of them. We only decided to have two, and the two best probably from the collection here in this exhibition, but Parmigianino was definitely a Farnesian artist. We don't know a lot of things about this painting, except that it is a fantastic portrait, and probably one of the most striking Renaissance portrait ever. It says it's Antea. It says that she was the mistress of the artist, the mistress of Parmigianino, but honestly we don't have a clue. I mean, it's a very nice story, so I'm very happy to repeat it, and I'm very happy. I mean, I treat myself to believe it, but that's not that much the point, because what is sure, and it is the art historian speaking, is that this is a portrait of a lover given by a lover. That's a present. That's almost a Saint Valentine gift, because it's clearly. I mean, she is staring at the viewer in such a direct way that it cannot be it cannot be a public portrait. It cannot be a painting that was intended to be shown in public. It was something quite private, because it's quite daring if you look at it. And she is pointing at outfits, a necklace, the hairband she wears over her shoulder. So it's actually all the gifts that she probably got from this lover. So whether the lover was the painter or not, the lover is the commissioner of this painting, and the sitter is the beloved.
Quite a story. Well, it's a wonderful exhibition. Thank you so much for joining us to talk about it.
Thank you so much.
We want to thank Guillaume for speaking with us. For more information on the exhibition, go to kimbellart.org. That's it for Art This Week. Thanks for watching.
I still got your Polaroid.